Alrighty, we should be live. This is American Amy here. I found this interesting article I wanted to share with you guys. It's from, I think, CBS, so hopefully they don't mind us sharing it and going through it a little bit. Here's the copyright disclaimer. Maybe we can give it a second or two, see if we can get some people in here. I'll go ahead and get it up there on the screen, though. That way, when people do come in here, they won't have to wait. I try to get it already, hopefully this time. I have it already. We'll see. Hey guys. Hey Teresa, I ain't seen you in a while. Hello, Cubano from Texas. Princess, how you doing? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna watch this. Shit, sorry about that. We're gonna watch this little video and then I'll probably read the article because it's not that long. And let's see what this is about. We might need to pause it a few times because, well, we might because we want to talk about it and because they might not like it. But regardless, I don't care. This is a good video and we need to watch it.
Welfare system. For many, it's a lifesaver. But Erin Moriarty reports that when the system fails, families can pay the ultimate price.
Let me know how the volume is, guys.
We were right here by this tree. My son was right about here in this area.
In June 2017, at a family picnic in this park in Aurora, Colorado, Vanessa Peoples noticed that one of her young sons had slipped away.
You're maybe how far? This far away? What do you think?
Right here. This is my soon-to-be 8-year-old.
Peoples, who is studying to be a nurse, is not the first parent to take her eyes off a child. It happens all the time. But a bystander's call to police resulted in child abuse charges that have upended her life.
They treated me as if I really done harm to my children. And I didn't harm anyone.
A month after the picnic, a caseworker from the Adams County Children and Family Services came unannounced to her home.
That day I can never forget.
Peoples, who was downstairs doing laundry, didn't hear the doorbell. So again, police were called.
At that moment, I'm coming up the stairs thinking I'm going to get my kids, and I have a gun pointed in my face.
Even when it was clear the children were not home alone, the police didn't leave.
Damn! The door ain't getting closed right now.
What happened next is not easy to watch.
Watch out, hey, behind you.
When Peoples objected to the way police treated her mother, who had just come home, officers physically restrained her. Partially dislocating her shoulder in the process.
When the officer had slammed me down on the floor, I looked my son dead in his face, and it was just the look of pain. I was treated like an animal. I wasn't treated like a...
Okay, how can we protect our children if we can't even protect ourselves when they come after us like that? They beat the shit out of this lady. So, you know, it's easy for people to say, oh, they're not going to take my kid. They're not going to take my kid. Well, yeah, you can try that shit. You can, you know, but I don't see, you know, how far it's going to get you, you know. It sucks. But we're going to go back to the video. This is an interesting story. Volume's good. Okay. Hey, John. Hey, Rob. It's good to see all you guys. Thank you for joining me. I think this is very interesting. We're going to get right back to it. Okay.
Who had criminal history, was taken to jail, charged with child abuse and obstructing an officer.
The part that really got to me, I seen the look on that social worker's face when it happened. And she didn't say anything. She just stood there.
There are certainly times where the state needs to be involved. This was not even approaching one of those cases.
Erica Grossman, a civil rights lawyer, sued the Aurora police on Peoples' behalf, accusing officers of excessive force. Was there any indication that there were weapons inside the home?
No, there was absolutely zero indication.
A police internal investigation determined that the use of force was lawful, but the department settled the case, and the charge against Peoples for obstruction was dropped. Still, the one alleging child abuse was not.
Once you ring the bell of the state, it's a tragedy. You can't unring it. It's almost impossible to get out of that.
Colorado child welfare.
Okay, two things. One, what if she did have a gun in the house? As long as it was locked up and she wasn't pulling it on the cops, what doesn't matter? And two, what that lady said, once you ring them, once they have any idea, if they get a breath, if they hear through the wind that you've got a kid, damn, you're a prime victim. And you don't have to be doing nothing wrong to that kid. Just that you've got children, that you have children, then you could be a possible victim. So please be careful, parents. Please.
Welfare officials say they cannot discuss the case, but that the violence that Peoples experienced is unusual.
No, it isn't.
Still, what happened next is not. Peoples was required to follow a strict service plan, much at her own expense, and allow twice weekly inspections by caseworkers.
I had to pay for a drug test. I had to pay for parenting classes. I also had to pay to be on probation.
Unless the treatment of a child makes headlines, for example, when a child dies, Americans rarely think about the agency's charge with child protection. So the system that handles more than 3.5 million cases a year gets little public scrutiny, in part because the people most affected are poor.
Part of the propaganda that this system uses to convince the public that it's actually a benevolent, caring system is the very terms that are used to describe it. Child welfare, foster care, child protection.
University of Pennsylvania professor Dorothy Roberts has written extensively about the child protection system.
I prefer the term family policing system because that really describes what the system does: to investigate, to accuse, to tear apart.
And the numbers don't lie, says Roberts. Black families are twice as likely as white families to be impacted.
More than half of Black children in America will be subjected to a child welfare investigation at some point before they reach age 18.
The care of poor or abandoned children used to be handled by private charities and orphanages. But when the growing use of x-rays in the 1960s revealed that children were suffering abuse at home, the government got involved. Today, fewer than 20% of cases allege actual physical abuse. The great majority involve neglect.
Neglect is usually confused with poverty. Neglect is
Okay. Sorry to stop this again. Okay. Hey, COVID. Neglect. Yeah, what they consider neglect is not what we would consider neglect often. Neglect often to the government or to the state or who CPS means just that you're poor. It doesn't mean your kids are going hungry. It doesn't mean that your kids are not going clothed or diapered. It doesn't mean they're dirty. It often just means you're poor. It may mean you're homeless, but it doesn't necessarily mean, neglect. As we think about it, we're thinking about you're just not taking care of them, you're not giving a damn, you're ignoring them. That's not what neglect often means when the CPS gets involved. It can just mean you're poor. It can mean you're homeless. Homeless is enough for them to take you away, your kids away. And I did an article today, and I encourage you guys to watch it because we are going to be discussing it soon. It's very important because it deals with records laws, which were denied, and the state of Florida was sued, and the records were released. And now the taxpayers have to pay $376,000 to these news agencies. And the poor child, he's gone. Okay, CPS failed him, and then they try to cover it up by blocking the records. Now, that video's up there. That's your homework. We're going to continue watching this one. But your homework is, when you get a chance, please watch that one and really listen to it, because there's many things in there that are important. Okay, we're going to get back to the video.
Defined by most states as parents failing to provide the resources that children need, like clothing or food or secure housing. And those are usually caused because parents simply can't afford them.
Every 2 minutes, a child is removed from his or her home. There are now more than 400,000 children in foster care. Would you agree there are probably some cases of neglect where extreme poverty or a parent with a terrible drug problem, kids would be better off in another environment?
Yes, of course, there are cases. And again, these are
Okay, before she answers that, hold on. Yeah. Okay, there's another video that I shared today. I've been on CPS's ass today. Where were we at? Okay. What were we at? Damn, I lost my train of thought. Come on, help me out, somebody. Charges, neglect. Jesus. The case I shared today. Oh, okay. I shared a little clip today on a video that I've shared before. Okay. And this guy says it, and I've also shared a video before that's got 50 whole views on it. Okay, that has good information in it. It says it costs 10 times more to remove these children, 10 times more than it would be to help get the parents, if they need drug treatment, counseling, psychiatric help, if they need housing, if they need help finding a job, a cheap car, whatever. It would be cheaper to do all of that than it would be to remove these children. 10 times cheaper. So why are we removing the children? Bye, Frank. Thank you for coming by. Now, there are going to be some cases, of course, where real crime has went on, where children are really being abused, that the children need to be removed and not returned. Okay? But even if they need to remove them temporarily, but the goal is never reunification. They'll give you this year case plan, but it's almost impossible to do. And we're going to continue with the article, but I just want people to realize that it would be cheaper, and I always knew it was. Now I'm starting to get evidence that studies and articles that yes, it is cheaper, and it just makes more sense. Why would you want to put these children with strangers who I keep also sharing and getting articles about these strangers abusing them, these supposed to be vetted foster parents? So we're going to get back to the article.
extreme cases. But first of all, this system doesn't spend enough attention or resources on what could be given to that family to keep it together.
Your life completely changed because of one night, didn't it?
Yep, one dumb mistake that I literally wish I could take back every single day.
In the summer of 2017, Samantha Mungai was a 22-year-old single mom of a 4-year-old girl living in Missouri, struggling to pay rent and childcare.
We had gotten behind on rent, and so they gave us an eviction notice. If you don't pay on this date, you have to leave.
Mungai, who danced at a club at night, says she couldn't find a babysitter and left her daughter in the apartment alone. Samantha, you had to know how risky that was. There could be a fire. She could get sick, and she was alone.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have just not gone to work that night.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but then we would have been evicted. And then what do I do next?
When she got home that morning, she discovered her child had gone to a neighbor's apartment, who called police. The child was placed in foster care. Mungai agreed to follow a plan to get her back. How often were you able to see her?
Once a week. That's not enough.
Although records show her daughter struggled to adjust to foster care, Moongai was never allowed to spend time alone with her or bring her home.
What we have as a system now is a system that's responding to harm and inflicting an intervention on those children in a way that causes further harm.
Alan Detloff, Dean of Social Work at the University of Houston, was once a child protection caseworker himself. He says that service plans often set parents up for failure.
They have to go to counseling. They have to go to parenting classes. When parents would say, I can't take this much time off work to go to these classes. And the caseworker will say to the parents, well, this is about your child. That should be your priority. You need to figure it out.
In Moongai's case, she was also required to pay child support payments to the county to reimburse them for the foster care. And soon, weeks away from her daughter became months, and then a year and a half. When parents are required
Wow,
to pay
she
child
had to pay
support,
the
doesn't
state
it also
for child
increase
support?
the
Oh
amount
my
of time
God,
the
that's
child is
ridiculous.
away from the parent?
Absolutely. And that's not what we want either.
Asia Schomburg is Associate Commissioner for the U.S. Children's Bureau. This past summer, her office recommended that state and county agencies stop charging struggling parents for foster care. But it's not enough, says Professor Roberts. She and others say the entire system needs to change.
This system is a $30 billion system. It would be so much more beneficial for children to take those $30+ billion and give it directly to families for meeting their children's needs, to spend it on housing, on clothing, on food, on medical care.
What do you say to people who say the system needs to be completely dismantled?
We don't want 400,000 children in foster care. There may be children and families out there that need the help and are getting the help that they need.
But these agencies wield great power over families' lives.
Let me show you how to do one.
Yeah, the big one.
Moongai, who now also has a 4-year-old son, says she believes she'd get her daughter back. But while her case files noted steady improvement, in 2019, her parental rights were terminated. That mean you can't see her?
I'll get in trouble if I do, is what they say.
Can't talk to her? Can't find out how she's doing? Moongai's appeal was denied.
Oh, sorry. Up here. Sorry to interrupt again. Okay. If they really thought she wasn't capable of parenting, why the hell did they let her keep the child afterwards? Just like Megan. They've terminated her rights to the first 3, but now they're still she still has a chance of getting the baby if she can get all her shit done in the 12 months they gave her. And if they say it's enough. Okay? So and states charging the parents child support after they make it impossible. My God, how in the world? And if they really thought that first child was at risk, what makes them think the second and the third and any other she won't have? It's not true. It's just, yeah, there are some bad parents, but it needs to be done in a different way. These parents are not, a lot of these parents are not, committed, are not accused of a crime. Some are, but most are not. And the Constitution just threw out the window. And common sense tells you if they didn't think she was ready to raise one kid, why would they think she's ready to raise these ones? Because they just wanted that baby. And there are incentives, and it goes back to the Safe Child Act, and I will share that later on my community page, that the Clinton started that. And they take money from the Social Security Fund and they give it to the states for adoptions, and they prefer babies or really young children. Okay, back to the article. I'm sorry for interrupting.
Denied. Among the reasons cited by the court, she failed to take a parenting class, a psychological assessment, and she missed scheduled visits with her daughter. The Clay County Children's Division and the Missouri Department of Social Services said they cannot speak about specific investigations.
What bothers me is she doesn't think I love her. She will grow up thinking that I don't care and I didn't try and I left her and I gave up.
I live with this every day because it's a nightmare.
It's been more than 5 years since Vanessa Peoples' son wandered off in the park. She never lost her children, yet Peoples is still dealing with the repercussions. In January 2018, she pled guilty to reckless endangerment of a child rather than risk jail. But the conviction makes her unable to get a job in nursing. She has a criminal history now for reckless endangerment of a child. For what? For allowing a child to wander off in a park?
Yeah, there's nothing more. It's absolutely insane.
I can't get jobs. I can't even get housing. I'm still living with my mom. I should be able to have a home for my children and myself. But the fact that someone else intervened in my life, I'm stuck at zero.
Okay, that might be the end of the article.
Question.
Let me see.
How do you keep up with the news that matters most to you?
Give me a
Getting
second.
it from just a few sources or the chaos of social media doesn't give you the complete
This could just
picture.
be an ad.
That's why smart news is a game changer. Whether it's politics, entertainment, or local news, you get
Give me a
reporting
second.
from
I
multiple
want to see if
perspectives.
this is an ad.
In fact, Smart News pulls
Or if
articles
that's
from
it.
almost 500 publishing partners, so you can talk to anyone about anything, knowing you got all the facts. Download Smart News for free today.
Let's see if there's more to the article or not. I guess that's it. I don't see nothing else, do y'all? Okay, so we're going to stop sharing that. Actually, we might go back to that screen again. Give me a second because I want to look at the article. Let's see what this says. My mother was an old social worker who protected. Yeah, may your mother rest in peace. I know there was people that used to do it right. And B, I know there's people that probably sign up to be social workers now and think that it's going to be different than it is. But there's also a whole bunch of them that see what's going on and they don't stop it or they won't stop it or they can't stop it. I don't know. And a lot of them will like it. Yeah. Well, yeah, and they do often, but that's the thing, though. If they're so scared of getting it wrong, why do we keep seeing all the cases like the story I shared today, where they give them back to the parents that really are abusive? And I'm talking about extremely abusive. I see story after story like that. I rarely hear about a child, that's given back, and the success stories. You don't hear about them because there's not a lot of them, because a lot of them don't get given back. Now the first lady, she did get her child back, but look what she went through, and now she still can't get a job, and she didn't know better than to plead guilty. And so now she's pleaded guilty. She can't be a nurse. She's living with her mom. And then the second girl, my God, that baby's gone forever. And once they terminate your rights, can you come back from that? It's possible, but it's very hard. And especially, I think the only way you can do it is to prove like some judicial misconduct or either your lawyer misconduct. Now, I think Megan has things that happen in her case that would qualify her to maybe appeal it, but they don't provide a lawyer for that, is what she told me. And she told me that she would need $23,000 up front just to get that started. So right now she's just working on trying to, not saying she don't want the other three back, because she does want them back too. She's working on trying to get a place for her and the baby. that they will let the baby come to. It's really weird. I was trying to show y'all just the article itself, but it won't show up now at all. Isn't that weird? It's crazy. All right. Anyway, but I will have that in the description. I guess we'll just remove this now. Okay. So yeah. So I don't know. Like I said, I just been on a CPS thing today. That's what I've been working on today. I've been running into tons of articles, so many articles. And if you think people don't want to listen about the police, hey, Broke Fishing. Okay, I like that. Broke Fishing. Where was I at? Y'all know how I am. My train of thought. Oh, one other thing I was going to say when that lady was talking about something in that case, too. Oh, yeah, why is it that these children, if they really thought they can't handle one, they wouldn't they would take the rest of them. It don't make no sense. And I did lose my train of thought. I had a really good point that I was thinking when I paused that, and I did say it earlier, but then I lost it again. But if I think of it later, I'll add it in the comments. And they probably are scared, but that's when we need a new system, okay? We need a system that's revamped from the very, very beginning. Because look at the lady, how she was hogtied and took out of her house. And they think they can enter your house too, which I don't think she let them in that house. I don't know if she did or didn't, but without a warrant, even if they come with CPS, you don't have to let them in, especially not the first time. Now, if they come back with a warrant, then that's different. My advice is if you go to the door, talk to them through the door. If they really want to see your children, bring the children to the door, leave the door locked, and let them view the children through the door or through a window or something. But, everybody has to handle that themselves in the way they feel best. But this was an article, and I've been finding egregious article after egregious article, and it's happening to a lot of people. Do I believe there's some bad parents out there? Sure. The story I shared earlier, the state did mess up. Like I said, why is it though when they mess up? Why is it when they do give them back, it's generally the bad parents? Now, I'm not saying always, because there has to be some good parents together. Because like the first lady, but look what it cost her. And she's still suffering because of it. She's still suffering financially, emotionally, and will be for a long, long time. So, does anybody want to come up and talk about this, any or anything else? I will put the link up for a minute. And the thing I shared earlier, I know some of you guys already watched it. We are going to have a conversation about that one. Because if it costs less to give the family treatment, even if it's drug treatment, whatever kind of treatment, they said it, that man said it, and the common sense tells you, I'm telling you, it costs a lot of money to pay these social workers, and then you have to have foster parents, then you have to have transportation where they drive them to and fro from the foster parents to the DCF place where they can visit their parents. And the visits are supervised, and so they have to pay somebody to drive them back and forth, and that's not usually a caseworker, that's usually somebody different. And then most of these caseworkers are not actual social workers. Some of them do have some type of degrees, but not most of them are social workers, like in the term, like we're thinking somebody that's got some kind of special qualifications or some qualifications with working with children. Hey, Amber, we're talking about children getting taken left and right, as always, and how expensive it is and almost impossible it is to fight them, and then how egregious it can get. Let me see if I can find a little short I shared today with that guy saying that real quick. I want to show you all that too if I can find it. I should have looked on YouTube, not on Google, but that's okay. And I'm going to try to start getting some of the, trying to start interviewing some of these parents. Not these ones that we just seen necessarily, but some that I've been talking to. We may start interviewing them on the backup to start with, though, because this isn't popular. But I just want people to see what's going on, and I feel like a lot of people don't believe it, and maybe it's because they don't have experience with it, or maybe because they've never seen it. I don't know, but I know most of you guys believe it, but some people don't. And I do know there has to be something for children that really are in danger, but yeah, this isn't it, man. So let me see. That's not in there. And the little video, it was a little short. But I think I didn't put it on YouTube. I think it's on it could be on my backup channel, or it could be on just TikTok. I think it's just on TikTok. But anyway, the man's just saying, and actually, wait a minute, it's on this video too. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I'll find the spot. It won't take but a second for him to say what he's got to say. I know y'all can hear that. Just give me a second. And then I'll share this. I'm going to get to the part where I want this right here. Okay, I don't know. Probably a lot of you guys have seen this video. I shared it. But this girl that's first talking, her grandmother had asked for help through DCF after she got custody of her. And, of course, then that once they got her, they put her in a group home, wouldn't give her back. But I want you to hear what this man says, okay? Make sure we can see. Okay. Before I play it, full screen, hit play.
And if you want to take her back out of care, you have to go through the court proceedings.
Alexia says grandma, who emigrated from Haiti, struggled with language and cultural barriers, and she couldn't manage to get her granddaughter back. Alexia remained a ward of the state until she turned 18.
This can happen to anyone. There's not a certain type of person that this happens to. You don't have to look a certain type of way.
According to the National Coalition for Child Protection Reform, Alexia's story is not unique. Florida's DCF often removes children from homes where the coalition argues addiction services and counseling might have kept the family intact.
It happens all the time. It happens all the time across the country. We know that because the rate of removal in Florida is higher than states that have outstanding, relatively speaking, records of child safety and don't tear apart as many families. Even when the issue is substance use, drug treatment for the parent is almost always a better option than foster care for the child because the trauma of removal is so great.
DCF responded to our questions with this table showing a downward trend in removal, which the department says is at a 19-year low. And the department says only 6% of children in Florida foster care are placed in a group home, compared to the 10% national average. Now, in spite of all of her challenges, Alexia graduated from FIU with a bachelor's degree in psychology. Today, believe it or not, she works for DCF in a program called Hope Florida, whose purpose is to help young adults who are aging out of the system land on their feet. That might include job placement, higher education, counseling, or other therapy to deal with childhood trauma in or out of state care.
So as you see there in that video, I played that video the other day. That man, what he's saying is true. And I also have another video up that is an article where they did a study and they found out it's 10 times more expensive to put the children in foster care. And then the one state we were just watching are actually charging the parents to pay for the foster care. They're charging them child support. How in the world can they come back from that? You've lost your children. You lost your job. You're trying to find a place. You're trying to find, how? And pay child support? And they want you to pay for all your own counseling and stuff? It's impossible. And who is being served? That child that was just on there, she's grown now. She said she'd have rather been in jail anywhere than where she was put, and she was put in a group home. And then you see that little chart they showed. What kind of little chart is? What is that? That's really supposed to impress us, okay? Do you know how so many children go missing out of foster care? I have found about 3 articles just today of children that have been abused, S-aid in foster cares, even the Turpin children. Do y'all remember that story? Where they had, how many kids did they have? They had a whole bunch of them. I think 13 kids, and they were abusing their children. And the one girl that ran away, and she had an old cell phone and was able to call 911. They got the children removed. Some of the children were grown, but they were stunted because they had been with their parents all their lives and starved a lot and tied to beds and stuff and not allowed to bathe nor wash their hands and stuff. I think they could wash their hands, but not past their wrist. Anyway, so the children were removed. The older ones were not put in foster care. They were given some kind of services. But the ones that were put in foster care, they were put in a home, and yes, they were abused. And they say it was worse than the home they came from, and they were S-aid. So, what do? This thing needs to be revamped from the beginning. But in the meantime, how many children and how many families are tore apart? I don't know. And I don't know what all to do about it. I've tried to bring attention to it. I will continue to try to bring attention to this and anything else I think needs attention. Anything I think needs to be heard. Any truths that are being hidden from people. Yeah, I bet they are. I wouldn't doubt it. They probably are. Do you know in the state of Washington, once your child is, I think, 13, no fees with Cash App. And if you do PayPal, if you make sure you select it, when you go to hit the donation, if it says goods and services, click that and change it to friends and family. And then it won't charge you a fee. So, yeah, but donations are very much appreciated. And to be honest, they're needed. I can use them. But I don't want nobody to go out of their way. If you got it, fine. If not, just watch the videos and share them. And that's all I really ask you to do. If you can donate, sure. I appreciate it. I can use it. But if not, I do appreciate y'all watching the videos and sharing them and getting this information out here. I really am an information sharer. You guys know that. I have a Facebook. I have an Instagram. I have Twitter. And also Twitter is where a lot of, there's a whole community of families that are going through family court, that are going through DCF abuses or CPS, whatever you want to call it. It's all the same monster. And believe it or not, there's a whole community of people in there. And it's sad that there's that many, but a lot of them, some of them are activists who are trying to help. Some of them are just people that that are trying to get help, that are going through it right now. And I mean, it is sad. Hey, Black National, how you doing, darling? I'm glad to see all you, Karen. I'm so glad you're here, and thanks for dropping the links. Yeah, and thanks for dropping the backup. The backup has some good content on it too, as far as videos. I also am putting like some of the body cams and stuff that they're not going to monetize up there. Of course, sometimes I put videos on here that I know are not monetizable too, but I want y'all to see them. So that's another reason for the backup. And also when I do my live drives, I've been doing them on there and I've been playing music. That way, I can just have a camera on me and I can have you guys riding with me and we can keep the main channel looking a little more professional, a little more cleaned up, you know. But do be warned, sometimes I forget and start singing and I can't sing. So, but you already know that, Black National. You've heard me sing before. So, how much money foster? Yeah, I think for to adopt one out it's like 10,000, and in order to get that money from the federal money, they have to surpass the amount of donations they did the year before. I mean adoptions. So if the state of Florida wants federal money for their adoptions, they have to do more adoptions than they did last year. That's so. That's something else to look into. And look, guys, I encourage people to research this stuff. If I had more time, I'd research it more myself. If you research, or if you know somebody that researches, or if you got the time and you want to go down the rabbit hole, go on Twitter and look at me and some of the people that follow me. And then there's Megan Washington on there. There's a channel called Let Our Children Go. And there's a lady named Susan Dobbs on there. There's all kinds of people on there. You find me, you're going to find all these people, basically. And Megan, and all these people. And there's good channels online on YouTube, too, like Punish No More. It's just, yeah. And average salary, man, shit. I live off way less than that a year. Ain't that some shit? I ain't never made that in my life at a damn job. Okay. I'm serious. That's fucked up. And the state makes money off of it too. Don't think they don't. And they're not vetting these people. Now, I have seen a program that some people were trying to start somewhere up north, and I think it's a good idea. It's completely voluntary. That means the foster parents are voluntary. They don't get paid, which hopefully they're helping them with some expenses, like donations or something, because it's expensive to raise children, especially if they're not your own, you know. But and the parents that participate are parents that need help. See, that's what this should be for. It should be for if you're got kids and let's say you're struggling, you lost your job, you got sick, you're out of work, you are having problems paying the rent, you are having problems feeding the kids and keeping the lights on. You should be able to go to your government where you paid your taxes and ask for assistance, whether it be financial, whether it be daycare, whether it be counseling or whatever, and not be scared to death to have your kids taken. Because that's what usually happens. That's what happens to the girl in that video. She wasn't talking. So her grandma went to the people and asked them to help her out. But this program that these people were trying, you got to go to work, baby? Okay. I'm glad you're here, though. I appreciate you listening. I'm glad you're here, Carl. Oh, look. And then Karen's putting the Megan playlist. Yeah, that's all the videos I've collected on Megan that I can put on YouTube. There's some on Rumble, too, but I have it listed them together. Hey, Blue Still. So, yeah, so it's, I love kids, and it's really, and they're our future, and there's some other things they're doing to them, too. Not as CPS, or DCF CPS. This is more of the school and the indoctrination. And I'm going to try to start broaching this subject, but we're going to do it on my backup. And some people might not like it or might not even be interested in it. But we're going to talk about how they're teaching our children things in school that they don't need to know, and how they're exilizing our children. Is that a way to say it without S in the front? Okay. I have to censor myself. Hey, Gary, how you doing? So the schools. See, I knew we lost our universities years ago, but now the problem is they're spitting out these teachers, And they're all, if you look on TikTok, there's a bunch of teachers on there saying they're going to do whatever the hell they want, and they're going to teach your children whatever you want. And like I said, in the state of Washington, at 13, they can give you antidepressants without telling your parents. In some states, they can keep your secrets. Like that, where does that lead? Okay, if I'm going to keep a secret from a parent about a child's identity, how they think they identify, if a teacher offers that to a student, what are they going to want in return? Are they going to want them to keep a secret for them one day? Makes you wonder. But I found a video the other day, I hope I can find it again, where it actually shows how they're, how in this one city or state or whatever it was. But I know Washington, they can give you antidepressants and gender affirming care. Now, another thing that's wrong with the gender care, if people have problems with their identity and they're grown, that's fine. But even then, the care model is messed up. All they do is affirm. Okay? So if I was to go and tell one of these therapists that I felt like I should be a man and I wanted to transition, if I came up with that out of the blue, do you know the only thing they can do is say, yes, you should. They cannot go through no past traumas. They do not to give you any therapy as to what might have caused you to feel this way. They do not do none of that. And I don't think that's right, because some people probably are, I'm sure, are trans, okay? Some people are gay. That's fine. But leave the children out of this, okay? They will figure this stuff out when they get grown, okay? Don't bring it in our schools. Don't be bringing drag queens into our schools, okay? And they're doing it. And they're taking kids also to see drag queens inside of clubs and letting them tip them dollar bills. I don't care if you're going to see regular strippers. They don't belong with children, okay? That bothers me. And the way they're lying to these people before they go through these medical treatments like puberty blockers and hormones, they're not very transparent with these people. So that's why we're probably going to be trying to cover some of that on our backup channel, because I feel like they're hurting a lot of people, and they're causing a lot of these people to have bladder problems because they're messing these surgeries up. Okay? And then they're going to regret this. Some of these people are going to regret this, especially the ones they're botching. And I've learned that they're botching more than they're getting right, I'm afraid. So that's something we're going to start covering. Because why? Because it's not true. And I'm not saying there's no trans people. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying they're not telling them the truth about, like, there's no side effects and all this shit's safe. And I'm going to start interviewing people and start sharing some videos. And some of this shit's horrific, what they're doing to people. Yeah, I bet it was. All this stuff, all these programs are propaganda programs, like the people I seen filming that night. I hope to God they wasn't teaching propaganda. I'm still waiting on their video to come out. They haven't released it yet, at least not nowhere publicly. But when they do release it, I want to see it. And I hope to God that they are teaching those children their constitutional rights. That night at the traffic stop I was filming, they filmed different scenarios that night. I didn't stay that night when they were doing the mock traffic stops because I was trying to find Amanda and I couldn't find her. But I did go to their website later and seen they were filming till after dark and filming different scenarios. And so I cannot wait to see that video. hope. No, we do not co-parent with the government, but they think they do. We do. They think that the children belong to them. Hey, Gio, baby. It's good to see you, my friend. I'm not even a big TikTok user. I go on there sometimes and share videos to try to draw people to our main channels because it's such even now that you can do 3-minute videos, it's such a short format. And then a lot of times when you'll go there and you'll put a video of a cop watch or something, people put, well, that's not the whole video. Well, no, duh. I'm telling you, the whole video is on YouTube. If you want to go watch it, damn. I'm not going to sit here and part it out like all these little kids do. Part 1, part 2, part 3. Fuck that. No. But what got me into watching this was other people's compilations. And there's a guy called Odin's Men, Odiin Men, Odin's Men, and he shares a lot of these TikToks with these teachers that they're spitting out. And they are saying they're going to just teach your kids whatever. And when in some state, I wish I could find that training video. My God, I've got to find that training video. They were training the teachers. Like, if a kid comes out to you, and we're talking about like a 7-year-old kid, okay, or a 5-year-old kid, then don't tell their parents. And when they're at school, they even have closets at some of the schools where when the kids get there, they can change clothes. So if they leave home in a dress and they want to wear pants or vice versa, when they get to school, they can change and they won't tell the parents. And when the parents are around, they'll call them by their regular name. And when the parents aren't around, they will call them by the name they want. I have no problem with grown people doing whatever they feel comfortable doing. But even the grown folks need to be warned about the complications from both the hormone treatments and from the blockers and from the surgeries, okay? And the children need to be saved at all costs. Let them grow up, man. Let them grow up and figure shit out. Man, most kids want to be a damn superhero when they're 5 or 7. They don't mean they're really going to be one. It is grooming, Carl. It is grooming and indoctrination. I think their goal is to make us a weak society. Not only will we be brainwashed, a lot of our children are going to be injured and our young people till they can't reproduce. Okay? A lot of them don't think before they even have these surgeries. I mean, they are taking they're taking chest off of 15-year-olds. Okay? They're taking ovaries out of children. And Texas is one of the worst states for it. Texas of all places. And in California, if you can get to California, even without your parents, I'm not sure how old you have to be in California. I think it's 17, I'm not sure. But if you can get there even without your parents, guess what? They'll pay for your treatment. But once they do this to you, and then the surgery don't go right, a lot of times these doctors disappear. So y'all see why I want to cover this? It has nothing to population control. Yeah, because they're going to be infertile. And if they're not infertile, their parts are going to be so messed up, they're not going to be able to work, or a lot of them's not going to be able to carry children, or the hormones are going to be messed them up to where they can't. So I think people have the right to be educated on this. You were in Lee County? Oh, you was at Lee County Explorer. Yeah, see, and like the girl that they said is going to work for DCF, I'm glad that girl's going to work for DCF because guess what? She knows. And I know Gary used to be a cop, but you know what? Most people's intentions used to be, and probably still are, when they go to be a cop, thinking they're doing the right thing. But because our schools have failed us for so long that even me, someone who loves history, who made straight A's in history, a lot of times, I know I did in 10th grade, The whole year, I made straight A's. Okay? Why didn't they teach me my rights? And if that was many years ago, I know they're not doing it now. They're teaching them instead about feelings. And how do you feel today? Pick a pronoun pen. Do you feel safe? Does mommy and daddy make you feel safe? If mommy and daddy doesn't call you the new name you like, do you feel safe? When you go to the doctor, are you a boy or a girl, little Johnny? Why are you asking my 3-year-old that? It says in this paperwork. It's obvious. So these are the things I have a problem with. Do I have a problem with gay people? No. Do I have a problem with bisexual people? No. Do I have a problem with transgender people? Hell no. Do I have problems with drag queens? Hell no. Do your thing, baby. Do I have problems with strippers? Hell no. Do your thing. Make your bread, but don't do it in front of the children. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. And don't bring it in our schools. And if you got kids, I would take them out of public school. And if you can't, I'd be down there every chance I got popping up with surprise visits. I swear I would. Okay, I'm going to share this link one more time. And I'm going to encourage any of you that went in here earlier I'm going to share the article that I shared earlier, and if in the description when I'm done here, and you can either go back and watch it, or you can watch it with me taking breaks. I do think I made some important points during those breaks, so it may be worth that. But if you don't want to hear my mouth run, I will put the regular link there for you just as soon as this is done, so you guys can check it out yourself. Okay, so I put the link up there. We'll give it a few minutes, and if nobody wants to come up, this should actually be called Two Mother Stories, because it wasn't one mother, it was two mothers. But I hadn't watched the whole thing. I watched it all once. I got you guys in here with me. I figured we'd watch it together. Shit. That shit's crazy, man. Whose kid hasn't wandered off at the park for a minute? You know, damn. Jeez. I know you're late in here, Larry, Gary. We were going just over our article, and like I said, I will put that in the description of the video. I'll try to, if I think about it, put in the comment too. And you can always go back and watch this. Like I said, I did stop and make some breaks to make some comments, because I've been dealing with this for a while, you know, trying to help Megan Walsh. But even before that, I knew how they were, because even before I learned my rights, I was looking a lot into corruption, into the Illuminati, and into how things work in the background and why people do these evil things. So to me, a lot of our enemies, our main enemy is the devil. It is evil. Okay? Evil comes in a lot of shapes and forms. Evil. Wrongdoing. Do no harm. Basic laws, guys. We all know right from wrong. We do not need to be policed as a society. We as parents do not need a government all in our business. I'm not a parent. I mean, I'm still a parent, but my kids are grown, thank God. I am so glad mine are grown. I swear. I've been worried because I have 7 grandkids. Yeah, I worry about them. Hey, show me Sasquatch. Good to see you. I ain't seen you in a while. Anyway, so I want to thank all you guys who joined us the other night when we had No Name Coder on. That was an interesting show. And he's going to be trying to set that AI system. Well, he's already set a lot of it up. You know, he just needs pictures and videos and cop names and ID numbers. So if you haven't watched that, try to watch it. And the live comments are up now. And this one, we're fixing to end it. The live comments won't be up for a while, but the video will be there. And if you go, like anytime somebody goes live and then you go to their channel, if you don't see the video, just hit videos and then hit live, and you'll see it there. And then you won't see the chat for a while. Hey, Lone Wolf. But eventually it'll be up there. It may take up to 24 hours. Alrighty, so we covered a lot of stuff today. I'm I encourage you guys to watch the other video that I shared earlier today, because we are going to be discussing it on panel. And I'd like to get some of you guys up here with me to give your opinion on these things. You know, I want to know, is this shit as egregious as I think it is? Or am I just a softie? I don't know. I don't think so. But we'll see. Okay, the other one's called "Don't Break the Sunshine Record Laws." Okay, and it has a picture of me on the thumbnail. If you haven't watched that one, I really want you to watch it, because I'll show you the thumbnail. We're not going to watch it though, because oops, hold on. I just want to show you the thumbnail so y'all know which one I'm talking about. It's hard to see from here, but I'm going to show you anyway. Not invite. Okay. I'm just going to show you the thumbnail. Make sure you watch this one, because I really think it's important. It's like 7 minutes long, but it's not me reading, thank God. It is a computer. But if you know me, you know that's better than me trying to stumble over something. I know. Can you see this one right here? Right here with my picture on it. And then it says, "Don't break the Sunshine Law. Florida denies public records request." Y'all see that? This one right here, the top one. Yeah, watch that one if you hadn't already, because I would like to discuss that with you guys in the future. I really would. It's very important. And I don't really ask you to watch something unless it's important. I mean, yeah, I'll put it out there, but anytime I really, really ask you to watch it, it's because there's a victory in here. Unfortunately, there's some sad stuff in here. There's extremely sad stuff in here, but there's a court victory in it. That's good. But we, the people, are having to pay that $376,000. But alrighty, guys. Well, I want to thank you guys for joining me, and I appreciate y'all being open-minded to listen to different topics. I think they're all related. Hey, show me my rights. I think they're all related, and I think constitutional and civil rights come into play in a lot of these things, if not all of them, and just the truth itself. I am a truth seeker, and I am a truth sharer. And with that, we're going to end this. My name is American Amy, wishing you all a good evening. Thank you for joining me. Hit the like button, guys, please, and share. And watch that other video so we can discuss it later. Thank you, guys. Have a good. Bye-bye.